bind gets kind of testy, I think. The desk said it very well. I think we also have to look towards that breach and fade head-to-head here in the composition, since those are the key differences. And with Koi, you do have, okay, well, Lauren's not even here.
Yeah, Lauren's not even here. But we are able to keep close score with Team Liquid, 13-11. You can't shy away from that at all. It's actually a very decent score considering, you know, you're probably looking at the top 3-4 teams of Emea. If you want to be competing up against the best, you might want to be able to do so against teams like Team Liquid. But it's time to jump into the matchup. BBL on defense, Koi on attack, as Koi look to move towards this right-hand side of this map.
The protocoling already done towards that B side. Already BBL, they had pushed out towards Hookah. Brave though, bit of a tough spot. Nice back up at the very least and stall to come through, but it doesn't matter. Koi already have sight.
Yeah, they do indeed. And it seems like Koi have gotten a lot more than that as well. Camo to the back of it has gotten 2 kills of his own and they've gotten full control. The spike doesn't need to go down, and if you're killing all your opponents at the end of the day, it's a gun game. And they'll just toy with Reezy and Power Up. But Reezy might want to find a kill of his own before he drops. Power Up won't be able to do the same. Shadow with a double. In the end, allow Koi to get first blood.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised at the positioning I think we saw from BBL off the gate there into the pistol. They're playing pretty far forward on the A site despite having gone for a lot of that early information on B outside of Hookah. So I think for BBL, their Brave wasn't necessarily expecting Koi to be already ahead of that Molly. So close to that choke point, just ready to just kind of bust down the door in that kind of regard. But now, anti-eco incoming here, and BBL, they look to play that numbers game, play that stack, because Pora, alone on B, does have that ability to stall.
Yeah, Koi are 4 out of 4 in the past pistols that they've gotten, and 4 out of 5 in this tournament as a whole. Unfortunately, they weren't able to use that to their advantage to close out a map against Team Liquid, but maybe it will pay a difference here in BBL, knowing how strong the buy rounds are from Team Liquid. But this this consistency BBL brings, in something that Steele mentioned on desk, you need to make sure that your performance today supersedes that consistency that BBL brings. And whether they're able to do it for now. It's a very slow-paced approach, very similar to what we've seen, right? You know, you don't want to over-aggress, you want to get that early information. BBL, on the same hand, they've stacked up onto this A site, and that's Koi basically trying to figure out where's the stack going on. And I think they might have discovered it, given that Starkso pushed so far forwards into this B site. No one there, allows his team to move in with him.
I mean, I really like Pora's positioning right now at the very least. Hookah left not to be cleared, but Koi, they're going to be aware of that, the fact that they have not gone and cleared into those close quarters. Pora's already walked all the way out, just ships in the night, clearing out market. The read is here now, though, for BBL. You hear that rotation look to come through. 30 seconds on the clock. A free site to plant here for Koi. But BBL, it's about the damage you can do into this round. You've still got a fault line to work with in the aid.
50-50 gamble didn't quite work out early. Power showing his presence in B, and Koi instantly put all their forces together to try and take on that fight. The death ball approach. And now BBL provided space to move into. But of course, with weapons that can spray in the direction, as soon as they touch those spikes, it will be their demise, really. Starkso, nice little double kill. And he's only got the Ghost. The only player with a Ghost team gets most of the kills. And Power, the player that was close to the action the entire time, is the one that is left alive by the end of it. Won't want to give away an orb to the other side, to the other team. And it's Koi with a 2-0 lead with an Andalucia Flawless.
You really just had to call Power out like that, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. You would expect maybe a little bit more value from that positioning with the flood onto site, but I think just a bit too worried that someone else on Koi was going to come and try to re-clear towards Hookah and flank back around. But anti-eco now. Weapons in the hands of BBL. Looking towards the ultimate economy, Koi, they've been very focused towards Shadow and Starkso to try and cycle either of those up. Not likely to see them coming into this round. But we've seen kind of that priority that Koi has been putting on the ultimate ability, on those ult orbs, just trying to push those extremities. They're dodging now. Okay, yeah, no damage.
Definitely trying to get the basics right. Starkso moves up a little bit closer. The outlook can be so scary. But for BBL, I don't think it'll be that concerning. They've got 4 shields all across the board. It's a risk you always take facing an outlaw on these situations. And ever since the Fnatic buy has been favored, but the outlaw definitely being a big counter to that. But for now, slow and steady as we know it for Koi, but this time they do pivot towards this A site. Slowly but surely, Spike looking in that direction. And it might end up being the hit at this 1 minute mark.
Yeah, just Trailblazer down for as long as well. Sees one, but nonetheless, BBL, they still look to pull one towards A. Okay, never mind. Para's gonna still walk back here. This Poison Orb, really nice, forces Elite back.
Yeah, but Elite has spotted them, which is important. BBL now all the way wrapping. Only one left towards this B site. And 4 to defend. It's going to be the best case scenario here for BBL. And the paint shells will hit the smoke as soon as Koi look to approach. But 25 seconds, they're cutting this close. Very close.
And now there's some hesitancy. They're faking, they're sound baiting to try and bait that rotation over. Guiding Light will give it away. Oh,
but now they have to move in, and there's no other solution to this. They can't even rotate to the TV, even if they had the time. It's still Elite that comes off on top, and Brave doubles up. BBL have got all players here, and they're able to deal with it without a problem at all. Starkso finds another one. I think they might barely have enough time. Shadow's got him covered, and that's a spike down. Reezy's left in a 1v2, and this has gone upside down for BBL in a matter of seconds.
Starkso low, though, at the very least, but this Toxic Screen gives really nice cover. Reezy, nothing to work with in his kit.
Pros don't fake. Have you heard of that? Reezy does stop it at halfway, and Starkso peeks out together with Shados. That's 3-0 for Koi. A brilliant start.
I mean, looking reminiscent of this matchup that they had up against Team Liquid, right? On Bind, they had the first 4 rounds in a row on the attacking side. But what's a bit concerning is BBL, you would expect things to be, I think, a little bit closer this early on the match. When their matchup against Na'Vi, where they were really shining on defense were those retake situations. We're not seeing that same kind of brilliance, that same kind of coordination, a bit of disconnect there in, I think, some of the moves coming out from BBL. But information garnered.
Yeah, I love the reaction cams from the coaches. We're like, how on earth did they win that? We've got better players. But BBL will definitely have to prove otherwise. You know, Turkish teams known for Turkish aim, and they've got to make sure they make up for it this time around. Aggression coming out here from Hookah, and Grabinho's got it covered. Seems like Koi are anticipating this, and it's perfect. But if you look on the other side, it is 2 players. It would be a 1v2, and Grabinho has a chance to be traded out. Oh, yeah. But the patience game.
I mean, they don't need any more, right?
Koi will start to move in, and it's actually the Sheriffs to find a lot of damage here. The question is, Spike dropped, but do they have the space to grab any rifles?
I mean, no. Not knowing what threats are looming on the other side. Starkso trying to walk out towards A here as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that PBL don't pivot more players. Brave caught out with his pants down. But the Starkso on the lurk on A, that's an interesting one. The spike has been collected. And with Starkso getting A site control, definitely causes team to try and join him on that site.
I mean, Elite playing it safe with 30 seconds on the clock again. Curious to see if this is a pattern that we see from Koi just running down this time here. It's worked out for them in the past, a free site to get that plant down, but BBL looking to play numbers. Instead, though, they're not actually aggressing up towards B to try and get those rifles in hand, so it will still just be the Sheriffs into the retake.
Well, the Seekers has definitely alerted Koi of where they are heading and where they're coming from. It's just a matter of BBL or how much of a freebie are they willing to give. Maybe with a stun, they'll try and find a pick. Other than that, I can imagine they might fall victims to the spike explosion to avoid giving over the orb. Shados. Kill on power. Starkso as well, wanting to chime in and buff those stats up. And Kushner, the only one remaining. They know exactly where he is, but make it explosive. Go down with a bang. You might as well do that.
Yeah, just try and keep somebody around, if not both, but not gonna check the right corner. 4-0 here for Koi, so same start exactly as their matchup against Team Liquid.
Now, Koi can't afford history to be repeated here, right?
It's a good point. They started off hot, but I think the difference there was Team Liquid was also a team that really needed that time to kind of warm up into the reads here that they found on Koi and making that later adjustment.
Didn't quite catch the name there, but happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to whoever's name was on there. I also didn't catch it. The leaves were in the way there, but for BBL, this is a pivotal round. They have to win this and as comfortably as possible with their economy.
Yeah, one of the big aspects with BBL's pickup here is power, right? One of the players that BBL wanted to get on was a good IGL, right? Because it felt like, you know, on the Turkish scene, it sort of lacked in the way. Mr. Fallen paving the way with, you know, Turkish Valorant going to global events last year. Definitely set a high precedent, so BBL want to second that. Definitely want to be amongst the conversation for top in Turkey. And don't want to be the back markers, but for this one, Power needs to make the right call here and bring all the players towards this A side. Koi definitely pushing forwards onto this together. They've been provided the space, and BBL going to be confident to pull all their chips into one basket. Grabinho not allowing them to get too comfy, but the spike is left into no man's land, has to be collected. That buys enough time for BBL to come close.
Okay, now it's about the flood on towards site here. Spike yet to be planted. This is uncomfortable here for Koi.
Big time.
Spike down towards triple as well. 3 players holding.
Oh my god, not a single player of Koi can cross BBL.
30 seconds left.
Oh, it's so difficult to cross that corner. They're just literally inching forwards, covering more and more space, and they're all doing it together. Brothers in arms, and it's left Shadow to himself. Man shaking his head, wondering what happened. They thought they had this round under lock and key, but this is all it. This is what she wrote. 10 seconds remaining, and he's got a TP away. This round is going to BBL. With 4 players to spare, that's exactly what they needed to get their names on the scoreboard, getting their first round on Byte.
And that's a shift coming out from Koi in this strategy as well. They were trying to go with the fact that they were initially starting with those very early, slow, patient defaults the first 4 rounds. Now, shifting gears, trying to go for something faster paced into those executions towards site, but BBL, they also made their adjustment. I think a big difference there is that they didn't actually have 1 to 2 players down within the first 30 seconds. They had the numbers to actually try and contest that plant. Orbital strike available here for Grabinho. At the spike posture towards B side again. I think what's curious is there's been that theory so soon after the nerf, to be fair.
Just as long as you've got some other utility enter the site after.
I mean, that's why you're seeing the double initiator starting to come through here for most maps.
But there is an approach on this B side here, and there's 3 defenders for it, getting really scary for Koi. They've got to read it out, but the Trailblazer might be reading it first.
Great fault line.
Also drop back a bit at least, stand still, Koi. Throw in a dog of their own. Just a patience game, and the utility from BBL is keeping them back for now.
That's a lot invested, though, just stalling out this one choke with still 45 seconds left.
That's all they need. Koi are best when their spike is already planted. Stop them from doing that, and they might be lost in the round itself. 40 seconds remaining. Shadow, the first to find a kill this entire round. Oh, but a strike forced out. Brave F might be dead. Oh my goodness me. 4 points of health, and is still alive. And that means that Koi move over to this A site, but there's still Elite covering it from the headlines. That's a beautiful shot onto Camo. And he keeps it going from behind the smoke. This guy's a genius. And he wants to peek out as well. Shadow this time around interrupts it, and Koi find the upper hand. It's a 2v2, and both BBL players are very low, but for Koi, the spike is down.
Got the opportunity to try and get that heal up. We're gonna see Brave able to get a little bit more of that health back, but Reezy is so low in this situation. No utility to work with anymore.
No, that's the last guiding light being thrown out. They know where Grabinho is, but it's a matter of knowing where Shadow is. Do they expect him to be all the way behind? Sneaky man peeking through. It's a rush break, but gets the job done eventually. And Reezy is the player with least health to his name. And somehow finds Grabinho and knows exactly where Shadow is. No longer in the spike means he's got less time to work with, and Shadow knows it. He holds his patience, but it's Shadow to win it. It's a quadra to this man's name, and Koi back on the lead.
You saw Shadow nodding after that pick as well off of Brave, just knowing, okay, I got this, we're in 2v1, it's our round, it's our round. There's no way we end up throwing this. So Koi, they take it back, they seize that momentum back into their hands. For BBL, you've got the Viper's Pit available here for Elite. So we could see just initial denial, likely of short off the gate there towards the A side, allowing BBL to shift some of their resources elsewhere. But I'd like to see BBL maybe being a little bit more proactive. I think that we saw glimpses of that, some of those trap plays towards B long, But the difficulty was, again, they were left with nothing in the tank after contesting that space, and also with no showers control as well, knowing that the pivot with that much time denied there towards B would have been towards the A site.
And it's where those mid-round adaptations that actually make the difference in rounds like that, right? It's when you're able to make the decision to rotate around, you know, catch out the rotations. It's not only that, knowing that BBL no longer has those facilities to take over, you know, an execute of their own for a retake. So definitely well down here from Koi to turn the tide around in their own favor, and BBL trying to play catch up right now. They're dropping behind. Remember, this is their own map pick. This is a map which they beat Na'Vi on. A map which Koi could have definitely watched yesterday and said, okay, this is how they want it. Maybe Na'Vi throwed a bit, but we know how to deal with BBL here. So maybe something to be taken in consideration as we enter round number 7, where the streak needs to continue for Koi, but for BBL, most importantly, you lose this and you're back into economic deficit.
Viper's Pit towards short as anticipated. Both the Prowler and Dog used right off the gate here from Koi towards this B side. We've seen those plays for the B split used in their matchup against Team Liquid, but they don't always push off of it. More so that information that they're looking to seek. How much map control does BBL have right off the gate? Shifting back over towards A, they might look to backstab actually behind the pit through showers. Empty here for BBL. The remainder, 2 players towards the A site, playing very deep, ready to exit the site if need be. But if that does end up being the case, Elite could be left on an island, especially with Shadow working his way back towards Market.
Yeah, and it's Camo holding that sight line, with the paint can do quite a lot of damage. And Camo instead is the one being killed off. A showstopper. No, it's the paint shells actually. Insane.
No, he goes for... Yeah,
okay. Well, goodbye, Starkso. And instantly, Koi are down by 2 players. BBL have got a clear advantage, and it seems that Shadow wants to get a pick on Elite here. But he's not going to risk moving any further into that Viper's Pit. It drops off with 15 seconds left. Koi have made the decision. We're holding on to the guns.
I mean, rounds have been tight, right? Even though it's 10 seconds left. 5-1 right now, BBL have made Koi work for some of those rounds. Even if they weren't necessarily contesting the round itself, they were trying to take some of those weapons out of their hands, make it a little bit more difficult to build up that economy.
And we were talking about economy the previous round as well, right? BBL had to win that. And not only do they win it, it's completely flawless by them, right? Not even dropping a single point of health throughout it. Don't need to reinvest into shields. It's going to do favors for them, for sure, and it's going to do favors to their morale. Not dropping, you know, tremendously behind, being 3 rounds in reach of Koi, definitely making it a little bit more comfortable as we enter round number 8. A buy round again across the board. Viper's Pit still available for Shados. Let's see how this is approached by Koi. BBL so far have got the reads, funneled Koi exactly where they needed to the previous one, but don't really have the facilities to do it the exact same way this time.
No, just defaulting. Very patient. Koi, they like to start out the early round very slow. This time, a little bit more focused towards showers here for Koi. Not too much presence, though. Very passive thus far. Deep Sky Smoke coming out here from Brave to deny that information towards Hookah. Will force one of those Prowlers out from Shadow if they do want to clear into these close quarters. The Boombot, at the very least, finds a little bit.
You can tell it's an elimination game, right? Every single one of these players is afraid to make a mistake. They don't want to be the one caught off. Obviously, the game here is to get information, but there's a lot at stake here, right? They want to keep those dreams alive. They want to make sure they can go for a glory run.
But you can also be too measured, expending too much utility in one spot just to clear out those angles.
Let's see if it's going to be paid for. Camo, first blood, opening up onto this A site. 2 to the back of it, but it's a matter of if Koi decide to push past it. Trailblazer only clears a bit of it at the back end. And instead of moving onto the side, they get a lot of that lamp control. Grabinho not allowed to plot himself. Viper's Pit taking up all this lamp space.
Ooh.
And it's going to deny any of the defenders to move in that direction. Really strong. Kushner jumps above, denies a partner. There's only 14 seconds. They've got to move into it quickly. All BBL have to do is deny this spike from being planted, but they're failing to do so. Starkso puts them all 1 by 1 into their there, Graves, and Koi is on 6 rounds already.
What, 3 headshots in a row there from Starkso with the 4K? Absolutely mad, especially when BBL, they were heating up into that retake after Kushner finding the initial pick. Things are getting tight, things are getting dicey. Again, very measured into those early rounds, but then once it gets into the late round, especially when there isn't nearly as much of that utility left and available, things get extremely scrappy. No, you cannot deny.
Disgusting.
That was just an AimLabs moment.
That's an AimLabs moment indeed. And for that, Koi are going to be thanking Starkso. Get a pat on the back. Thank you. They needed that. And for BBL, on the other hand, they're back to the point where they cannot afford to lose a round. Last time they were in this situation, they won.
Careful
so maybe
here.
This is a way that can keep going in the right direction. But the ult management from Koi seems to be superior thus far. 2 available to the contrast of 1, but Para is 1 orb away. And those are very high impact ultimates. Rolling Thunder, Orbital Strike as well. And a map like such as Bind, heavy retakes, very useful.
I mean, it depends on how you want to look towards that ultimate economy, right? Koi with 6 rounds in a row, naturally they are going to cycle up to a couple of those just a little bit ahead of BBL, especially when BBL aren't actually fighting for that ultimate orb control to try and contest that.
Yeah.
But right now, again, Reese is just looking for some of that early information with the jiggles. Has to fall off there. You see Brave very... Okay, he actually comes back towards site. I thought he was just going to play fully off site for the sake of the orbital strike, but they're looking to just deny the push.
He's considering it. They still want to deny this push from coming forwards. The pot line as well makes Camel stuck. Showstopper, allowing him to gain extra space, but look how fast BBL are already onto the back of this site. There might be a sightline cover here from Elbow. Camel reason in time, that's incredible! Koi dismantling them one by one. BBL don't stand the chance. It's 7 for the Koi.
The Seekers on Starkso were the difference maker in that round as well. Things were getting uncomfortable there for Koi. You saw Camo was stunned up with that showstopper, didn't find anything with it, but the information that they could find with those Seekers, I think they might have actually hit some of the players on BBL as well. Just completely shifts the tide of that round now. Ooh, okay, yeah, you can see the little celebrations. They're like, okay, let's go.
That's incredible. But I feel for that moment in particular, it was the Camo versus Kushner moment. Kushner was like, oh, I'm cooking up a flanky, I'm cooking up a far sideline. And Camo just enters the smoke and is like, oh, bye. And BBL back to pistols. Short space gathered. Koi are noisy with it.
I mean, they are, but they can afford to be. They have the weapons advantage. They're looking to just draw out some of that utility from BBL, knowing that they've been pretty quick to the trigger on that. Not able to really capitalize, just looking to kind of stall things out as much as possible. Shadow's kit completely gone off the gate, but lots of information garnered at the very least towards B. They are aware that there should be at least 2. And now BBL, they actually draw one of the rotations back over towards A.
Yeah, Kushner will be lured out. Instead, he drops back and won't be the case. BBL want to hold and maintain the pressure to the back of the site. Camo opens things up as first blood, wants to free fire behind the box, but Kushner does get there instead. Still Koi, they should be winning this out. There is a flank in the making, but it seems that Grabinho's got it all covered. Brave will be sidelining across, but Grabinho was stunned, and Brave takes full advantage. It'll be so hard for him to get across and upgrade. And Shados, the moment the smoke goes down, starts spraying in his direction. And BBL's hopes quashed. As Koi make sure they solidify the spy round of their own, and both players simultaneously drop to the ground. Koi on 8, BBL trailing really far behind with only 2 rounds spare in the half.
Koi looking very comfortable once these rounds get scrappy. Again, very measured in the early round from both of these teams. The scary part here, BBL, this is their map pick on Bind.
Yeah.
Again, elimination matchup here in the bottom of the bracket within the group stage.
The banter between Barber and is it Aeros? Yeah, I think it's Aeros. It's unmatched. Barber and Aeros are just a match. Just the goated coaching duo. They're just having a blast.
I mean, I feel like you look at the Koi roster, you're going to be like, okay, after seeing some of the shots of Starkso celebrating up against Steel, you're like, okay, this team is all vibes. It's all vibes. You love to see it from
yeah, we're going to need a vibes graph after this. Analyst Desk, listen up. But for now, Koi, this time I've been given quite a bit of space. Darkso on the op, not something we'd see often from a Sky. But thinks better of it. Throws down a Trailblazer instead to try and gather some information. But the spike left in no man's land means that Koi have yet to make a decision of whether this attack is going to take place.
And they're just trying to see how much they can draw, I think, over towards this A site. We've seen them unafraid to expend that initiator utility to draw the rotations.
This is giving me hardcore old Na'Vi vibes. Just drawing out that clock. It's already 30 seconds, and the spike only now is starting to make movement towards this A site.
I mean, they thrive when the timer's tight.
Yeah, and BBL thought it was the B site, given the obfuscation Cameron was able to provide, so they're going to find this clear.
The reads here from Koi are so good. BBL trailing behind the moves.
But the spike hasn't gone down crucially enough, and could have gone wrong. Kushina ends up falling in the end. Styres align eventually. Rolling Thunder actually giving some cover to Grabinho, but won't be enough as the sprays are just too immaculate. Shados has to drop by Snakebite to stop them from following right after him. But Koi, all they have to do is run this clock down. They've managed to get the spike down eventually, and Darkso holding this cross line with the op, won't let a player pass. But fortunately for Reezy, he doesn't have to pass. He's sticking onto the spike. Halfway diffused. Elite finds another pick. Reezy in a 1v1. It's a Sky 1v1 here. The Seekers revealing position in the end. Oh, but not much health remaining on Reezy at all. Oh, but he's sticking it. No way he's going to stick it. Darkso does not permit him. It shots through the box. And a bullet to the head.
IGL on the side of Koi is having a game right now. 13-4. Shadow 11-3. I mean, they are popping off. And again, that's cycling into the Seekers, the Nightfall so quickly in this first half. BBL. Man, even just the play from Shados in towards Lamps there into the post plant, they're denying Lamps as an option to fully funnel the players on BBL into the operator.
And realistically, you can't see BBL to have too many options on this one, but they're going aggressive on B long. They've managed to spot out Grabinho, but he's calling the retreat, move out of there. I'm not quite sure how many players Grabinho was able to spot, maybe 2, maybe 3, but there's actually 4 on that Stampede. And Koi looked to bounce directly onto this B site, as if they don't care. But I think for once, Power might have made the right idea. Elite holding the sightline against Shadow, but that's all a ruse. That's a fake. The main fight is going to have to be B.
I mean, all the attention that was pulled, and then you already have Shados moved back towards this B site. Reezy sees the presence.
He does, but how much is that going to make a difference?
Fighting forward.
What? He's just fighting this, but
no.
It's going to be costly. Orbital Strike available, Showstopper thrown in as well, and might have been an investment of way too many weapons here. There's some very useful utility that could be used for the post plant. But BBL can't hold back. All 3 players are going to have to go for this last round of the half. There is no other way. It's literally 2 players on this elbow side that could do so much. Camo is low, but he's quick with it. Paint chills towards Kushina, softening him up, and it's Grabinho to help out, so it is a 3v2. BBL definitely climbing a huge mountain here in this round. Flash out. 1 more flash remaining for Power if he's going to make any difference. Elite is holding a really good angle, but the Snakebite is doing damage towards Power, and it will be enough to finish him off eventually. Elite doesn't have enough time. It is diffused halfway, but it's 2 different directions he needs to look at. Even if he's quit on Grabinho, even if he picks up Shados, it will not be enough. Double digits for Koi at halftime. Valiant effort for Elite, but it's all she wrote. An excellent round for Koi, an excellent attack, and now they need to finish off what they started on defense.
I mean, this is the way you want to start here if you're Koi. They struggled on defense, but 10-2, that is a hard matchup to throw. BBL, right now, they're going to need to look to get back into the game mentally. They need a very solid pop-off pistol round to try to bring themselves back into this matchup. But losing this hard on your map pick on such an important match, that's tough.
It throws the conversation of Turkey and BBL claiming Bind instead of Ascent in the bin. If BBL aren't able to redeem themselves on this attack and be able to square a lot of rounds together, chain them all up and find a streak that could challenge Koi here, it might all be for naught. Early stun coming out from Koi in this A-short direction. They still hold by though. It could be quite the crunch.
I mean, BBL, we saw the player cams. Sure, they're serious, but they're still chill. They're still relaxed.
Got a bit of information garnered. They know that there's lamp pressure coming in from BBL. But Koi, I love how far forward placed they are. And BBL can't really guess that. Although, those footsteps and power, I do believe Shadow might have heard them.
Oh,
so
definitely.
It is causing alarms for Shados here to cover his ground.
Which fully denies the power of this lurk wall.
They're double backing into the safe site, though. Let's see how much Shadow can find, how much impact Kushner is going to check it, but it's a lazy check, and that allows Shadow to find one and damage onto the second. Starkzer's nearby. He wasn't even the one nearby earlier. It was Camo. And both Camo and Starkzer will end up dropping. BBL turning the tide of this game, of this round. Grabinho, you saw 3 players already onto the site. There's a 4th one there, and he's not able to do a thing, which leaves Shados on the hot seat.
Not much to work with here. You do have a snake bite to try and deny that Shower's positioning. Cora is the one that's low here towards lamps.
Yeah, no longer the element of surprise. Shados is trying to go for the chase, although Pyro won't be shut down this time around. Ooh, nice little flick onto Elite's head. But that's BBL with a pistol, ending the streak of pistol success here for Koi.
Still not as confident as we would have liked that pistol round to be, though. Not as decisive from BBL. A great pistol, of course, an absolute must that BBL did need to pick up. But you need something with a little bit more of that, momentum that can emotionally drive the team forward. But now, very strong buy coming in here for BBL. They're looking to have a very strong bonus into the next round to contest the anti-eco of Koi to look towards the future. But a deep smoke towards B long. Sure, information garnered here for the side of Koi. Oh, that's a bit dodgy.
Look, it's a pistol round. You want to take some sort of a risk here from Koi, and Kushner is there to read it in time. And back to full health. Thank you, Reezy.
I mean, sure, push out, find a little bit of that information, but I think when especially B long is being stalled out that well just by a smoke alone, leaves a little bit to be desired. Now the shift back over towards the A site here for BBL. You've only got a shorty in hand here for Shados towards lamps. He's gonna have to back off.
There's not much that can go wrong really for BBL at this point. Although now that I do say that, Shado's got a shorty, and if anybody crosses paths with him on this short proximity, it could be their demise. And a rifle collected perhaps, but I don't think BBL are planning to do that anytime soon, knowing of the pressure that could come in from Koi, the possibility of a shorty.
Ooh, it's tense right now, Koi.
I mean, they're just really buying time.
Yeah, they're not doing much here. It's all about just trying to deny as much of that Alt Orb potential coming in here for BBL, and they're comfortable right now. They don't have to do anything too risky. They can play it.
Yeah, they built a tremendous lead. They really have built a tremendous lead. Power and Reezy finding a couple kills here. Shadow the only one from Koi to find any damage. Shutting down the IGL BBL for this one, but it's a round that BBL needed. The follow-up to the pistol, only losing 1 player, strong start, and it's exactly the direction they want to be looking at if they'll be closing this 8, well, now becoming a 6-round lead for Koi.
With the focus that we've seen going in towards Powera on the side of BBL, Rolling Thunder 3 away from coming online here. Could see some of that attention being drawn towards the extremities of the map. Try and get those ult orbs into pocket here for BBL. Again, they need every single advantage that they can find in each round with how much Koi does have to work with in that sense. As the round starts, very classic lineup coming in to try and deny some of that information towards lamps.
Well, you can already see a difference on how BBL like to push the map in comparison with Koi. A lot of shower presence for them, and it's Kushner that finds the first shot. Well, they know exactly where Starkzer is, and Reezy's got under lock and key. Everyone's falling for Reezy right now. The Rizzy, maybe. Yeah, let's not bring that back. Grabinho, though, on a 1v4. It's a lot to ask from the man. And BBL, you know, all down to Reezy, closing out this round for them. No problem at all. That will place him on 5 already here, Ash. And definitely making this comeback look a lot more plausible, especially considering this was Koi's buy round, right? This was supposed to be BBL's bonus.
The fear, though, for Koi is this where it starts to fall apart on the defense, where they've struggled before? You had the ideas coming out from Koi. They were looking to pinch towards the Showers player, but man, the timing's off there on the swings, needing to a little bit more of that coordination to come through. So BBL, I mean, they're slowly working their way into this, but we cannot deny still the lead that Koi does find themselves in. Seekers in the hands of Reezy to be saved over into a future round. All eyes are going to be on Grabinho if you're a Koi fan going into the next one with that hero rifle.
Well, Berlin definitely have chosen their favorites. BBL's name shouted across the room. Pretty quiet on the Koi side, though. Even though they're the ones in the lead, it seems to be some belief reinstated within the fans. And for BBL, I'm sure there'll be hope that that's exactly the same for the players. They've been able to chain 3 rounds together, and Koi has signed alarms. Timeout time. Time to rethink this through. How do you get control back in your favor? Obviously, you've got a lead, right? It's not a matter of overthinking here. It's a matter of going back to the tried and tested. Don't get into your heads. Don't get caught off early, perhaps. Because it seems that every single round that BBL have gotten so far, it's the product of Koi's players being caught off early.
I think what gets a little bit scary here, of course, first 2 rounds, sure, BBL looked great. We can't forget, though, that it still was just the pistol in the anti-eco, so plenty of time for Koi to try and come back here. But again, with them being on this eco round themselves with the hero rifle, BBL looking to have a very similar start to their attacking side is exactly what Koi did to them into the first half. And what I'm looking towards is Koi's adjustments. What's worrisome is, okay, BBL, I think they've done really well in the fights that they've been able to take after getting that spike planted as well, but we haven't even seen like a true post-plant situation from them. And that is where they really shined in their matchup up against Na'Vi. The lineups were so frustrating to deal with, and Koi, when they are on those retakes, will have to fight so far forward to deny that.
That they do, but Koi need to prove themselves on defense. Maybe not this one, but there's a hero rifle from Grabinho. Maybe able to use that to his advantage. But obviously, it seems that BBL are heading towards this A site, and Koi have only got 1 defender, so not the best of situations for them. While Koi do put most of their pressure towards that B site. A push that gives them information, but Shadow vacates the area. Doesn't want any business with this. And BBL are given this A site for free.
Oh, cycling up the showstopper here for Kushner, just in case the round goes awry.
Oh yeah, smart thinking. Having more ultimates available for them. Reezy, he's got the read, but how many stats can you pad? 1 for now, gets out, clean as ever. Realizes there's 1 on Heaven, gives out the call. Camo shutting down a lead as soon as he peeks the corner. That's impressive. How many shots of like these are we going to be seeing? Maybe a second one, maybe a third one. Hang on a bit, Koi might have turned this whole thing around. There's only Brave alive. And rifles is being collected here from Koi. They're going right after Brave, but Brave is good. Brave is strong. And Brave is Brave, and we'll be peeking through the smoke. Grabinho will be shutting him down. Koi turn it all around, and I think they've got just enough time to get the spike defused. The round is theirs, even when it shouldn't be.
A thrifty round there for Koi, and the way they were just able to manage the control of lamps, the pressure from short backside, very much so focusing on those close quarters and making it uncomfortable for BBL to maintain that positioning towards front sight. Now, a timeout for a timeout. BBL calling one of their own because Koi now 1 away from match point. And again, this is a tall mountain to climb here for BBL.
Oh yeah, it's a tall order, especially losing a round like that. That's exactly what they didn't need right now. It's exactly what they were hoping wouldn't happen, right? It's the condition where they were able to streak rounds together. You know, you can allow Koi to win 1 buy round of their own, but it can't be the bonus. It can't be the pistol. No. It can't be the save, you know?
I mean, that can fully stop the momentum that was starting to build here on the attack for BBL. And then the big thing too, Kushner popped that showstopper just a second before he got taken out of the round. That's a tool that we're not gonna be able to see carried over into this one. A massive one at that with that Raze ultimate, especially when you have Koi with the Nightfall in hand. It can usually be a really great counter to deny that flood in on the retake situation.
And with BBL taking the timeout, Koi have a chance to iron out their game plan as well with Barber as they enter this next round. It's a difficult one for BBL. This is their map pick. This is the one that they've replaced potentially Ascent with, right? It's a big change to how they approach this series, right? In BBL's history of existence as a team. And Koi, so far, have stopped that momentum.
Okay, great line as far as that fault line goes, just to find a little bit of delay in any sight lines there for Koi. But already, they're changing the pace this time. BBL looking to just fully take A site right off the gate.
I've got your trail.
Hold and tested.
Blinded.
We know this is exactly how Koi have allowed BBL to move onto site so far. It doesn't matter how they retake it. Kushner pressured here from Showers as two have popped out of the TP. And you can see it's a rotation of BBL themselves. Look at Elite moving in with Brave, I believe, and they're trying to catch the Arc guard, but he's got it well covered. And Koi are demanding space back from BBL, and they're limited into the lamps area. Shorts as well. One left on site. Rizzy is being deleted, and Kushner within the smoke could be everything for BBL.
Oh,
Shadow's quick to the trigger though, and Para is burning alive. Elite is all that is left. No snake bites to delay. Only his gun, only his trusted Vandal, and he can't do a thing against the Stampede of Koi. It's 12. And there's only one remaining. Do what you can at the end to find consolidation. But the round means that Koi are one away from closing out map number 1.
Yeah, match point here for Koi, and that was clinical coming out from them. The way that they knew that, okay, you have the Nightfall to work with, that's gonna force BBL off of the site, back in towards short, or Showers, where you have the TP having come in, further retake from the B long players on the side of Koi. And then on top of that, it's just making that post plant so uncomfortable for them, BBL. They can't comfortably play for those lineups. It's threatened in that sense. Now, information garnered here. BBL, I think what's a bit difficult, they have yet to really contest B long, I think, on any of these rounds.
And it might be the wrong round to do it, considering there's so many on the P proximity on the defender side of things. Of course, there's a bit of a crossfire setup here, and Poombot hoping to seek out Shados as well. And it will do so. So Kushner holding the line will make Shados uncomfortable to peek at himself, so he's going to nestle himself into that corner as BBL bide their time and give the idea to Koi that they might be rotating to A.
Well, I mean, BBL off the utility usage here from Koi, they know that 4 are stacked over towards B. They saw the Viper Snakebite, they saw the Boombot coming out from Camo, and then there was that early guiding light, and you're not going to be able to get that smoke from Grabinho if he's over towards A.
But the push from B and long means that that BBL are no longer taking up that space. Starkzo's given the call over, and everybody from Koi will start to rotate over or build up a flank behind BBL's lines. And they will move into this A site. Shadow has got a nice cover behind the Poison Cloud here. Will take the open fight. Won't be able to find one for his troubles as BBL find the first clean pick. That's what they need. Can they find more? Spike being planted. Orbital Strike denying some space here and denying time. 15 seconds on the clock, and only now the spike is being touched. Camo and Grabinho put their forces together, and Koi start to take over. BBL need to trade right back up. There's a flank in the making from Koi, so they need to be quick with this, but they're not. Grabinho wins another fight. And Starkzo hasn't even made his presence known yet. It's all down to Grabinho. The flank wasn't even necessary. And Koi close out map number 1. The pick of BBL. As clean as ever, and show us that they do have some defense in them.
What an upset coming out from